time to get your fix.
Come on down, get your horrible gaming review. 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 Wow.
Hello, my name is Zachariah with the Old Man Gaming. Welcome to another horrible game review, and man, am I excited about this one. Long time coming, been waiting for this game forever. But before we get into it, we got to get some disclaimers out there. Number one, the word horrible in the title of this content does not necessarily refer to the game or DLC that I am reviewing, but much more the content itself. I do snap judgment reviews here. I get about 5 to 10 hours with a game. I'm just trying to give you an idea whether you're going to enjoy it right off the bat or not. Because of that, and the fact that I think video games are one of the most subjective forms of art, I will not be giving a scored review system. Instead, I'll be telling you the overview of the game as to what it is. I'll then tell you the list of pros and cons in my point of view, as all reviews are. And then I'm going to tell you whether I personally will be sticking with the game outside the purposes of this review or not. That being said, let's get into it. Sifu is the game we're reviewing today. If you don't know what Sifu is, I am surprised, but let's go into it. It is from developers SLoclap, who originally did the online melee combat game Absolver, and this is a little bit big, a little bit more money into this project. It's obviously a kung fu epic with a little bit of a supernatural twist. Basically, right off the bat, no spoilers, but a lot of people who are close to you die. You acquire this medallion that allows you to resurrect once you die, but you end up aging if you resurrect in that manner. Then each one of the 5 assassins that killed all the people important to you, you decide to go after. Each one of them having their own level that is just full of goons. Now, as far as the systems of this game go, technically, it's kind of roguelite-ish. Basically, what happens is you'll go into a level, and then you'll progress through the level fighting bad guys, taking them out in any means possible. If you die, you're allowed to spend experience points to unlock abilities. Well, not abilities, but techniques, different combos, as well as other types of special moves that allow you to possibly get further in the game. You'll have an option here to either spend all the money on something over and over again, not buffing its abilities, but merely if you spend enough on it, it will unlock permanently. Or you can try and get further in the game by unlocking more and making yourself more versatile. Each time you die, your death counter will go up by 1, and then that will be applied to your age. So if you've died 4 times and you die a 5th, it goes up to 5, and then you age by 5 years. Once you get to once all your medallions get broken, there's 5 medallions on your little magic thing. Once they get broken, you cannot resurrect anymore. Your next death is the last one. This usually happens somewhere around 74, 76-ish. 76-ish. Can't say words today. That sort of thing. There are also certain jade statues that you can find in the level, which allow you to give yourself little passive buffs to help you go through the maze, such as higher focus level bars, higher regains on structure and whatnot. The fighting itself is combo based. You have a light, heavy attack. You also have a defensive button, and depending on how you press it and with what is how you can sway back and forth, as well as parry and just standard block. You can also dodge. I mean, there's really every way to fight in close combat in this game possible. Melee weapons, kicking weapons at people, catching bottles, throwing them back, vaulting over things, the whole 9 yards. If you take out an enemy enough and break their structure, you're able to hit Y and B together to get this just brutal takedown that drops them and recovers some of your health, which is absolutely important because you are basically made of balsa wood in this game. You take damage almost like the enemies take damage. The only difference is you get takedown health back if you can manage to drop them. Of course, the same goes for you, though. If your structure gets broken, they can do some serious damage to you, and you won't be able to defend for a small time. Full death in this game does not result in a full restart, though. Basically, what'll happen is you can either restart the level you were on at the same age that you got to it, with kind of the passive low-level perks that you have there, or you can reset all the way back to the beginning where you start over from scratch. Either way, you have this detective board in the game, which allows you to kind of earn secrets and other different specials that never resets. It also gives you information about what's going on as far as the plot of the game, which seems to be a little bit more intricate than just a simple revenge plot. What's also interesting about this is the levels themselves have these small mechanics in them that make them very replayable, such as in the first level, you have this long, huge battle, kind of a la raid style, through just series of rooms and hallways. However, there is this set of keys that if you acquire them on one of your playthroughs, you'll be able to unlock doors that allows you to skip, I would say 50% to 60% of the level itself and almost go right to the boss. However, there's a flip side to that as well, because if you're not fighting all those guys, you're not gaining the experience to give yourself those passive upgrades at the Jade statues. So do you spare yourself the life and go right there, or do you risk your life to go through it and get the experience points? It's a very interesting trade-off there. Each stage has a boss with two kind of substages to itself. You fight them once, then you fight them again, and they are brutal. They all have their own set of mechanics and a very stiff learning curve on all of them. You will die a lot. I mean a lot. I don't want to compare this game to Dark Souls because mechanically it's not similar. What it is similar on, though, and why I say the word Dark Souls, is the difficulty factor. This is a game all about over and over and over again trying, and losing, but not giving up. It's one of those things that you really have to learn in the moment. That's something else that Sifu really puts forward here. Sifu does not... I mean, there are plenty of unlocks here, and those unlocks definitely make the game easier. They don't really hold a candle to your own skill in proving. I streamed this game on its launch day, its official launch day on the 8th. I played for 3 hours, and if you watch me in the beginning, I'm struggling. The fights still look cool, but I'm struggling. Whereas by the end, I could get through levels without taking damage. That's what's great about this game, is that the practice and the patience that you put into it, you get back tenfold. It's not a roguelite in the fact that now that I've done it, I can boost my skills to get farther into the thing. This is something that is more like, I do this over and over again so I can learn how to do this better the next time, which I really respect how well they've done this, and that is a very hard thing to pull off in a game like this, or any game for that matter. At this point, though, I am most assuredly dipping into the pros and cons, so let's do it. Let's get into the pros. Pros. Holy crap, this game is great. I know, that's not a pro, but it is. This is just amazing. And I'm going to refine this down to the attention to detail in this. Look, SLoclap was not like, we're not going to make an open world game. We're not going to jam this full of a lot of things. What we're going to do is we're going to just put so much detail in it, you get something new out of every play, even though you're playing the same thing over and over again. The way the bad guys react to you, their hit detection is insane. I mean, absolutely insane. Just a good example is you can unlock this ability that allows you to kick weapons or items towards bad guys and trip them up or kind of stun them. If the bad guy's running at you and they get into kind of like a half-jump Superman punch, it actually goes under their feet instead of like just connecting, because that's the way the hitbox works. The hitboxing on this is absolute precision master crafted. Every punch you see that hits, unless you're in some sort of glitch, which we will get into in the cons. But for the most part, if you see a hit, it's hits. Same with the bad guys to you. There's no like, I dodged it, I pressed the dodge button, so even though the knife hit me, it didn't really hit me because I had the timing right. No. If you are there and the knife is there, you are taking knife damage, period. And that is so interesting about this game. And it just continues. I mean, stuff will get knocked over, things will break, you'll be able to vault over things. Every enemy moves in a different way. They all have different words and different groans when you hit them. every little thing you run into is different and has its own detail. You will meet very few repeat bad guys. Almost all of the bad guys look different, and that's crazy in a beat 'em up because there's goons everywhere, and almost every one of them looks completely different from the one you just fought. And it's not procedurally generated. They just handcrafted all these dudes and girls. Like, that's crazy to me. My second pro has got to be the music. Howie Lee destroys this. For a guy who is doing a soundtrack to a video game for the first time, he absolutely nails this. He does something in this game that I loved from the soundtrack to the Streets of Rage 4, which is as you progress through the level, the simple track gets better as the situation goes on. So it starts one thing, and that's the very base thing, and then they'll add an instrument or a tempo to it as you get to a different section, whereas it's all still one track. I think it's amazing. It's absolutely phenomenal how this works, and it really does a great job of getting your blood pumping and making you feel like you're in the fight. We're also going to talk about that in the cons, because I got to get nitpicky on this, but we'll get there when we get there. My next pro is the tutorial. I know, that's crazy. That's crazy to do that. But the entire tutorial is one of the most interesting, cool tutorials I've ever played. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but, I mean, I'm sure the other reviews already did. But it's just so interesting how it presents itself and how you do it. Plus, there's two parts of it. One of them's over the credits, and just both of them, they teach you all the basics of the game quickly and simply, while also being interesting enough to not feel like I'm just doing this to learn the buttons. It really actually felt like they were perfectly telling a section of the story that you had to see and had to know. And that is cool. When you can do that with a tutorial and make me not bored of it, I am super excited. I'm all for that. The tutorial of this game, phenomenal. My next pro is the unique feel of progression. So progression with this, it's a roguelite. So you have these series of perks or Jade Statue abilities that you can buy with either experience, score, or your age, whatever it is. And you can only pick one at each statue, which allows you to increase your stuff. And there's just so many strategical choices to this that I love. But even more so when you're unlocking the abilities via death or in between each mission, you can also unlock. You have to make that decision. Do I dump a ton of experience points into this, even though I'm not going to get more versatile, just so that I don't have to worry about buying it later? Which the answer is always yes. Or do I go versatile to try and get further in the game? I just thought this was so cool and so interesting, and I just love the feel of this game's combat and the flow of it. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This game has gotten into my brain. When I go to put it down, if I'm putting it down after a bad run, I'm thinking to myself, man, I bet you I could do that better the next time. Why don't I just do another run? And if I'm trying to put this game down after a good run, I'm thinking to myself, you're on a roll, you should keep that going. And then I actually had dreams about this game after the first day. It is hard to sleep. I spend time thinking about how to get better at fighting Sean at the end of the second stage so that I have more health going into the museum. It's crazy. It's crazy how in-depth this game is and how much it gets into your head if you're a player like that. If you're somebody who enjoys that kind of test. It's just very, very, very good. Very good. It's hard to... I know I'm not going to have as many pros as cons, but the cons are very nitpicky and a lot of little things, whereas the pros are just the overall experience of this is phenomenal. The voice acting's great, music's great, everything's great. All right, let's get into the negatives though. Let's get into the nitpicky. Let's get into the cons. My first and foremost cons are glitches. Look, this game is near perfect. And for 2022, the modern era, most games do not come out glitch-free. Here is the problem, though, is if you find any glitch in a game like this, it costs you hours of play. a mistake in this game, and that's why they made it this way. A mistake in this game costs you a death counter, which costs you 5 to 10 years on your life. It costs you things. So when you're not making them and the game's making them, it's a little irritating. So here are the glitches that I encountered directly. Number one, this happened to me twice. While fighting Sean at the end of the second stage of the club, before his second phase, if I got killed and then I revived and I was too close to one of the pillars in the dojo, I would somehow get attached to the pillar and couldn't actually move around. I was just stuck to the pillar, so he could just beat on me and I couldn't damage him. I did somehow manage to actually get him to his second stage, and then that almost fixed it because it pulled me out and put me in the center again. However, I had gotten killed so many times, it was basically a wasted run by that point. That happened to me twice. And if you've played the club level, it's a very long, frustrating, hard level. So you get to the end of it, at the very end, and a glitch like that ruins it, it's a bummer, because you got to do the whole club over again. Next glitch I had, also in the club, some club issues, was I was fighting a guy, specifically the person at the end of the third stage of the trials, the endurance trial, and he dropped me. So when I revived, though, he spawned up on a rooftop, and I could see him up there, but it wasn't a place that you could access, and he was just stuck up there, so I had to restart. Final glitch that I had, I respawn, and it's always after reviving. Like, if you go down in a spot with other scenery around, it causes problems. I revived, but I was on a railing on, like, a second-story walk-up thing, and I revived kind of half in the fall animation, half on it. The person I was fighting just walked up, pushed me over it, and I died again. It was a second death right off the bat. Look, these are little glitches. Little glitches that if you were playing a Bethesda game or an Ubisoft game, you'd be like, all right, whatever, and just reset your save file. In a game like this, though, you lose hours of play, or possibly set yourself up to not be in a good position later. Like, mistakes in this game cost everything. So with that being said, this just wasn't acceptable. I had to mention it. My next glitch, my next con, and this is not a con because I actually enjoy this part of the game, but I have to mention it here for anybody who doesn't like something like this, because this is a Snap Judgment review. I want you to know whether you would like this or not. This game is hard. Hard AF, guys. Hard AF. And not only is it hard just fighting, because when you're in a huge group of bad guys, they don't wait. They all just attack. You have to, like, literally get really good at the timing and spatial awareness. But on top of that, the bosses are ungodly crazy, and it takes a lot to figure out what their mechanics are and how to fight them. And even when you have it, sometimes you just can't beat them anyway because they're just that tough. This is a tough game. If you do not like games that punish you, this is not the game for you, because this game is going to punish your mistakes. It's going to punish them hard. Alright, the nitpicky con I mentioned in the music is, while the music is phenomenal, and there's no way to correct this problem that I'm about to tell you, if you are stuck on a level, like I was stuck on the club for as long as I was, you get just a little bit sick of it. I don't know how you fix that. I really don't, but this game forces you to just play things over and over and over and over again. So, if you're at a point where you're like, I just have to keep doing this until I get good at it, there's a point where you're like, I can't take this club music anymore. Please, please, please turn this club music off. And it's not Howie Lee's fault. He did an awesome job on this. It's not even the game's fault. It's roguelite. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just there's something that needs to be mentioned to you guys that you might experience. Is like, wow, I've been listening to this a lot. It's just in your head as soon as you turn it off. My final con, again, isn't really a con. Like I said, these are all nitpicky. But it's just something I want to let you know if you're somebody who enjoys these kind of games. This is in no way, shape, or form multiplayer. There's nothing multiplayer about this game. There's no co-op. There's no leaderboards. There's no trials. There's nothing. This game is bare bones simply what it is, and that is a narrative roguelike kung fu movie action simulator. Like, that's it. That's what this is. And I like it that way. I'm okay with that. I have no problems with that. But if you're somebody who really likes the social in your gaming, this is not the game for you. Steer clear. Well, seems like I'm gonna fail keeping this under 20 minutes, but we gotta go whether I'm gonna stick with it or not, guys. I'm gonna stick with this. I'm gonna stick with it as long as my brain will allow me to stick with it. I have just, like I said, I think about this when I go to sleep. I think about it when I'm in the car. I think about the staff moves from Sean in that frickin' second level and trying to figure out how to get better at fighting them. I think about pathways through the levels and how to find that last little thing that I haven't found in the first stage. Like, this game is in me, in my head, and it worms in like a song you just can't get rid of. Because it's that good. It just is. Like, it's so mechanically great that you're never thinking to yourself, man, this doesn't work because of this, or as long as I buy these points, I'll be okay. No. You have to think about, how do I fight better in this situation? How could I have made that better for me? Man, I can't recommend this game enough. If you enjoy any sort of action games, or if you like punishing games, or if you like roguelikes, just give this a try. It's also not too expensive. It's only $40 on Epic. It is a bummer that it's only on Epic and only on PlayStation. I hate exclusives, but, you know, it is what it is. So, there you guys go. That's my review of Sifu. You can also check me out playing it every Tuesday night right now for Amateur Hour, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I stream it on YouTube. And then sometimes I just stream it on Twitch because I like playing this game. You guys can also check out everything we have to offer or talk to us. Facebook, at OldManGamingTH. On Twitter, at OldManGaming9. You can join our Discord. The link is in the description below. You can influence us in all of our shows from there. As long as you keep watching, you keep listening, we'll keep making them. We'll see you guys next time.